Hello and welcome to Africa Focus News Bulletin right here on KOW TV. My name is Maurice Mbugwa and here are the stories making headlines. Major investment in Somaliland, growing US-Saudi involvement in Sudan, and tight security ahead of South Africa's G20 summit, and France renewed African strategy, and the escalating violence in Nigeria. We begin our bulletin in the Horn of Africa. Now, Somaliland has granted Taiwan-based Central Sky International Trading Company its first national-level livestock quarantine license, a groundbreaking development for the region's agriculture and export sector. Now, the company plans to build an 88-hectare quarantine and export hub just outside Berbera Port, equipped for high-standard health checks, traceability, and modern disease control infrastructure. Now, Somaliland's President Abdirahman Mohamed Abdullahi Iro has personally backed the initiative, calling it a pivotal step toward building a transparent, modern, and globally competitive livestock supply chain. This isn't just commercial. Somaliland is already a large exporter of live cattle, sheep, goats, and camels to countries in the Gulf like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and Oman. But with global buyers increasingly demanding health certification and traceability, the new facility could significantly boost Somaliland's export prospects. Beyond trade, the investment challenges Somaliland's ambiguous international status. By attracting credible private capital and meeting strict international health standards, Somaliland signals that it operates like any normal state, calling into question long-held diplomatic assumptions about its future. Now, for Africa, this is not just about livestock, it's about how a region on the periphery can reshape economic and possibly political realities. In Washington, President Donald Trump announced he is mobilizing US efforts to help end Sudan's devastating civil war at the request of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Speaking at a high-level investment forum, the president said the Crown Prince urged him to do something very powerful to stabilize Sudan, and that a multilateral effort is now underway involving Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, and other regional players. The conflict in Sudan, which pits the regular army against the rapid support forces, has already resulted in tens of thousands of deaths and massive displacement. The involvement of the US, prompted by Saudi Arabia, marks a significant turn. The crisis is not only a humanitarian disaster, but now a strategic issue in regional geopolitics. The Saudi request comes amid a broader backdrop of massive Saudi investment in the US, including major arms deals and economic agreements. Now, for Africa, a coordinated US Gulf effort offers the possibility of renewed diplomacy and aid. A stabilized Sudan may reduce displacement across neighboring countries, lower the risk of regional spillovers, and potentially curtail resources flowing to extremist groups. On the other hand, foreign-led mediation efforts always carry the risk of being viewed through strategic lenses, raising questions about influence, sovereignty, and long-term commitment. As Johannesburg prepares to host the first ever G20 Leaders Summit on African soil, South Africa is tightening security in a serious show of force. Over 3,500 additional police officers have been deployed, backed by the army on standby, under the command of the National Joint Operation and Intelligence Structure. Authorities say they will enforce a 5-pillar security plan: intelligence, proactive policing, specialized response units, reactive policing, and public communications. In a parade at the FNB Stadium, Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia and National Commissioner General Fanny Masemola urged officers to be firm on criminals while respecting lawful protests. Mosikili, Nat Joint's co-chair, said law enforcement is ready to let people protest, but only in designated zones. At the same time, several civil society groups, including labor unions, anti-migration activists, and climate campaigners, have announced peaceful protests around the summit, but authorities have made it clear that disruptions will not be tolerated, especially around key sites. Now, for South Africa, the G20 is more than a diplomatic showcase. It's a moment to assert its role as a continental power. Also, is a test of its domestic cohesion. With deep inequality, economic frustrations, and high crime rates, the summit brings global attention and pressure to deliver both security and substance. French President Emmanuel Macron is launching a major tour across Africa with visits to Mauritius, Gabon, Angola, and South Africa. But this trip comes layered with history. France's colonial legacy has long marked its relationship with Africa, and many see Macron's tour as both a reset and a statement of continued ambition. In the past, France deployed troops across its former colonies, maintained military bases, and exercised heavy economic influences. In recent years, Macron has argued that France's long-standing dominance in Africa's affairs must end, and that France's future lies in equal partnership, not old-fashioned control. During this tour, Macron is expected to push major cooperations projects, green developments in Angola, security and climate partnership in Central Africa, and trade agreements rooted in mutual benefit. But for many Africans, the question remains, can France really reconcile its past with a new model of engagement? Some critics argue his partnership rhetoric masks lingering power dynamics. For the continent, this tour could be a turning point, not just symbolically but practically. If Macron backs his words with investment, respect, and shared leadership, France could become a partner in Africa's future. If not, his trip risks being another chapter in old patterns of influence. My name is Maurice Mbugua, reporting from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for joining us.